Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. It is a big day for reveals. Not a ton of reveals, but two very cool reveals. All things considered. First and foremost, we've got a brand new Plunder Patrol ship. The One Piece is in fact real. It's an Earth ship, which is the best type we could have gotten. We were only waiting on Earth and Wind. I think Wind is a little bit less relevant. Earth here, still really nice, so we don't auto lose the virtual world matchup. As well as a brand new generic trap card. We'll get into that. That card's also really generically sweet as a trap player myself. So let's get into this thing. Starting off here, we've got Plunder Patrol ship Yord. I don't know if this is pronounced like a Y, but like sometimes it is in those languages. So Yord or Jord, whatever you want to call it, or Jord. Fiend Synchro Pendulum. Okay, effect monster, it's Earth, it's level 8, 1500 attack, 3000 defense, so a big old booty, medium attack, but with the field spell, it'll get pretty big pretty quick. It's not a big deal. For the pendulum effect, you can only use it once per turn. You can declare one attribute as cost. Return this card to the extra deck, and if you do, special summon a Plunder Patrol token, Fiend level 4, attack 0, defense 0, with that attribute you declared to each field in defense position. That is really solid. Now, the one thing here is like this effect is only activating like, while this card's already in scale. You get in scale via its effect, its monster effect down below, which can be fairly, decently easy enough to set up, which is really nice. Not only does like Earth help you cover more matchups on top of just like what your deck already like allows you to work with, but also this lets you even manipulate it even further. So even if maybe the dark ship is one of the better ships in the matchup, but the deck doesn't play darks, you give your opponent a dark monster while also giving yourself an extender, and then you go into the dark ship from there, which is pretty cool. I think that's a pretty cool effect. There's other ways you can make use of not only your token, but your opponent's token as well, and kind of like screw them over. Stuff like Rivalry of Warlords if they're not playing a Fiend deck. Pretty funny, but yeah, cool effect. That's a cool pendulum effect. But now for the main effects. This card is completely generic. Any tuner and any non-tuner has a level 8. That's pretty easy to make. You can only use the first and second effects, monster effect of this card's name once per turn each. If your opponent special summons a monster or monsters, okay? You can add a Plunder Patrol card from your deck to your hand. Then, if this card is equipped with a Plunder Patrol card, you can special summon a Plunder Patrol monster from your deck. Woo! This is so good for just what Plunders have always felt like they've been lacking, which is not only ways into their ships, but into guaranteed Plunder cards in hand for the discard effects to get their interruptions. And that is so cool for this card, because your opponent's going to have to special summon. It's just Yu-Gi-Oh! Unless you play Fluandereeze, they're going to give you away. They're going to special summon if they're not playing Fluandereeze, essentially, or Mystic Mine. And they're going to give you not only a search for any Plunder card. I love this card as well. This can get you, grindy searches for cards like Booty. Or, just go ahead and search whatever the best discard in the deck is. Probably Whitebeard in most scenarios, but it could be something else if you want. And then if this card is already equipped, which normally I would assume it would be, you're also just summoning another one from deck. So that means, like, also summon a Redbeard, a Whitebeard, and then they tag out again on the opponent's turn to get you into a different ship. Really sweet effect. That is really good, I think, for Plunders. Second effect, you can target a Plunder Patrol card in your graveyard. Add it to your hand, and if you do, place this card in your Pendulum Zone. Cool. So that is how this card pretty easily loads itself into the pen zone so that you can get the effect to start generating tokens every turn. It's pretty cool. This is just every turn, by the way, which also matters for sure. So I quite like that a lot because it replaces itself as a resource. So you like trade one for one. And then it's like going to get you even another body from the Pendulum Zone, which is really cool. So like this card a lot. I think this is so cool for Plunders. We're just waiting on a Wind target now, even though I don't even think it's as necessary as the Earth. I felt like the Earth one was more impactful than Wind, but there are a couple of matchups out there where a good Wind target would do the deck some good, but we'll obviously have to wait and see what we end up getting there. I'd kind of like to see another Link 2 that's like different but also still good in its own right. Or maybe, I guess it could be like a Link 3 if they like and make it more powerful than Bluebeard. And you can tag into it, it'd be, it would be harder to make like raw. But still, really, really cool. Awesome to see for Plunders. Very excited. Plunders, good for them. And now we looked at the new trap card. Tombox did the showcase the new ninja cards on his channel with like a sponsored Konami video. Shout out to him. He showed off all these cards. Pretty excited about these. I don't think they make ninjas quite good enough yet, but it is a cool start. But also in there, he revealed a new TCG exclusive trap card called Destructive Daruma Karma Cannon. Crazy name, but I'm with it. A double alliteration in there. It's a normal trap card. It is not a once per turn at all. Change as many monsters on the field as possible to face down defense position. Then, if either player controls a face-up monster or monsters, they must send all face-up monsters they control to the graveyard. Very, very insane. I love this card. I think this is just like such perfect power creepy design in the modern game. I think it's kind of balanced because it also attempts to flip your own stuff face down as well, which means you have to be weary that like you got to play in a deck that you're okay getting your stuff flipped or sent. But this is like just power creep at its finest. I mean, we look at stuff like what is it, like Floodgate Trap Hole only flip stuff on summon. Almost all the trap holes only flip stuff on summon or remove stuff on summon. But this is just, you can activate it whenever you want. It does not need an activation cost or anything or a trigger to even set up. You can fire it whenever the hell you want. It is a complete board nuke. It isn't removing everything per se, but flipping everything down turns them off in most scenarios. So we'll still take that. And the one problem I had when I played something like Subterror in the past was if you ran into a link-heavy deck, specifically something like Sky Striker, how do you handle the links? The links would be such an annoying problem to have to deal with. You would have to draw like a trap or like use a battle phase with a final battle to clear over. And your removal for them was just fewer and far between when like a card like this becomes really good for that, because not only do you flip something, which I believe it only needs to change any one monster face down before you check to see if there's anything left. I don't think it has to flip something on your opponent's field necessarily, but I think as long as you flip something at least on either player's field, then it will check to see what's still face up, which would be link monsters or monsters that are unaffected. By the way, this is an out to unaffected monsters, which is crazy. So yeah, like, and then they send it too. So even against Striker, for something like a Subterror, this card might just become a straight up staple because it lets you reset your Subterror monsters while also outing Link monsters, and even in something like a Striker matchup or an unaffected monster, which ends up being trap decks weaknesses, one of the biggest ones for them a lot of times. This says they must send all face-up monsters, so it actually affects the player, I believe. If this is the same ruling as like evenly matched, it's affecting the player who then has to send it. Like they themselves are sending it, not necessarily the card effect sending them. So anything unaffected by card effects would still be sent, I believe, off of this. And in cases of like Sky Striker, where Ray would come back if the monsters are moved by card effect, same thing. I believe it's the player sending their own card to grave instead of like the card effect. So I don't think Ray would come back. Unless I'm wrong, let me know on the ruling on that down below if you know anything more on that than me. But this is what I want to see. This is what I'd like to see. No warning point. Warning point was just hella weak. As soon as I read it, I was like, this is just like so mediocre. But this is the kind of impact power trap cards we need to see in modern day Yu-Gi-Oh! For them to like actually be able to compete and have like more relevancy in the metagame. So really, really cool. Very hyped to see this. I believe this will come up maybe it'll be a trap deck in the future that's competitively relevant. Maybe it'll just be a good generic card where depending on what decks are good in the current format, this card goes ham. I don't know. Or maybe it's just specific decks like Subterror that make good use of like the getting set and being able to like come back face up later on or something. But either way, really, really cool trap card. I love how open-ended it is. I love how powerful it is. And I love that it dodges like problematic monsters for, decks that would normally be playing trap cards. So I love it. I think it's great design. I'm all about it. So all in all, really good day, I would say, for me. Very happy about the Plunder card. Very happy about the trap card. He also showcased the Zealantis. We already knew about this card. The card's going to be... that card's going to be banned one day. I'm calling it now. But yeah. We'll see. I'll still keep you tuned. So I think there's one more reveal tomorrow, and then the day after that, we should be getting maybe the pack openings. Whenever we get everybody opens the pack openings on YouTube for Darkwing Blast, we'll probably get the final, I think, 12 cards revealed. But this one's great. Very excited. We got an awesome card like this, generically shown off for the TCG exclusives. Hopefully there's more stuff like that, but I will keep you tuned on that, as well as we're coming down the last, like, 10, 11 days for Photon Hypernova. We've still got like 32, 33 cards left to get revealed. So ton of stuff coming there as well. It's going to be a busy weekend. So get excited for that, guys. I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below on the 2 new cards. Such a good day on this. I'm so pumped. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.